So if you guys are paying attention, you'll realize something's missing. Obviously, I'm pretty happy about it, and it was actually an awesome experience. So we're going to talk about that on this week's Tuesday Morning Tech Tip from Pugliese Speed Shop. So for the last few weeks, I started right here talking about something, and it was always, here's my 89 Suburban, right? Clearly, she's not there anymore, and that's because through the power of the internet, she's sold. Now, as I say that, she's still here. Not a problem. Eric came this morning. He's like my new best friend, basically, right? So he came by, loved the truck, purchased it, and wants to get some tags and drive it home, which I don't blame him one bit. So he asked me to keep it here for a day or two until he gets that all squared away, and then he'll come scoop it up. Cool. And I did promise him I was going to keep it right here. Now, I'm not breaking my promise because we got to work on the stuff, guy. He understands that, I'm sure. So once it's, we're done working on whatever we're going to work on today, got to watch next week's video to find out. But then we'll bring her back in. So she'll be safe overnight, and she can just, nice little slumber right here. But it was, you guys saw the last tech tip. We had some offers all over the place and all that. So we're going to talk about that. And we're going to talk about how waiting for the right guy is the right way to sell something. So if you guys remember, last week, I was pretty excited about a trade. We had a whole bunch of stuff. I mean, all over the place. I still got the list, guys. I was excited because there's kind of that mystery of the unknown, right? I've traded a lot of things, and I've done videos about it before. Like I had my OBS dually that I had, diesel, awesome truck. I love that truck. I traded that for a YJ Jeep. Quickly found out that was not the daily driver I wanted. Traded that for a 23 Model T Roadster, because that's a good daily driver. Ended up selling that and taking a partial trade for a 81, I think, Yamaha XS 650. And then I sold that. So I ended up making out in the long run. And it was quite, you never know what you're going to get, right? That's how I got my shovel head. I had a jet boat. I put that for sale because I was tired of jet boat things. And there we go. I've done a lot of that. That's how I got my green Jeep. I traded that XJ. Well, actually, I traded a television for the XJ, if you believe that. Then I had another television. I traded that for the tires on that thing. It was like, man, I was hot with the trades for a while. But I'm at the point now that I'm trying to make some room, maybe free up a couple bucks. I got some projects I want to throw a couple dollars at. So that's probably the way to do it, Since we talked last, there was 4 more trades, maybe even more than that, but 4 that I remember. And I actually have pictures of 3 of them. Either way. The first was, let's just say if I didn't have the teal OBS, I would have probably taken this one. This one was a 95, so it doesn't have the interior I like, because I like the older interior better. But it had a Vortec V6 as compared to the TBI V6. So there's that. And it was a 5-speed, which I thought was cool too. And they make a super cheap, real easy turbo kit for these. So there was that option. And it was a short bed single cab, same as mine. Now, the first picture was awesome. And then as things went on, the pictures dwindled a little bit. But still not terrible. The guy was honest about it. But I didn't need another one, right? I thought about it. Guys, I really like, I'm getting antsy. I'm just going to take it. But I figured that one, and this one had AC. Mine does not yet. But I was like, I could flip this one quick, and there's a whole thing. Me and Jake talked about it a lot. He's kind of my, what do you call that? Sounding board or voice of reason or whatever. Because he's a car guy, right? So when I talk to Megan about it or whatever, she always thinks I'm ridiculous. And even I'll talk to Kevin or somebody else, and they're like, different trains of thought. Not that either one is right or wrong. Like Kevin's got a totally different train of thought than me, and it works for him. And honestly, he probably makes better decisions in the long run. But what are you gonna do, right? So I thought about this OBS, and actually we talked about actually meeting up for a trade. I kept telling the guy that didn't have tags on it, and he didn't really grasp that. And he's wanting to do all these things. He'd have a trailer, and he was like 4 hours away. So not the perfect trade, right? Then somebody hit me up with this super obnoxious chopper. And he said, you want a redneck chopper? I said, I don't even know what that is. I got to see this. And he sends me this monstrosity. Clearly, I never even considered it. Obviously, I'm a bike guy, right? I got a bunch of motorcycles and love motorcycles. This, to me, is not anything I'd ever use. I didn't like them in like the early 2000s when like West Coast choppers in Orange County and all these guys were building all these things. I thought they were terrible then. And these guys were paying stupid money for these theme bikes. Guys, don't get me started on that because I can rant forever on how ridiculous that crap is. But they got more views than I do, so maybe they were onto something. Anyways, I clearly didn't want this thing. And it had this, the stuff, nothing I'm into. Making this the hardest thing in the world to ride. It doesn't perform at all. And all the money on the paint and the airbrushing, it's not my bag at all. So we quickly passed on that one. I offered it if old Wade, Kevin, or Nick, or somebody wanted us. Hey guys, I'll get it for you. God no, right? So then, this guy, you gotta love some guys. You gotta love him because that guy knew he had a ridiculous thing that he couldn't sell because he's like, I get it, right? Well, then this guy hits me up. Hey, I got this wagon. You want an 80s wagon? That leaves a lot to the imagination. So what do you got? So he sends me this 80-something Volvo, whatever this model was. And you can tell it's beat. Now, guys, I'm not against Volvos. Jay's got that Volvo at S70 or something, a 5-speed. It's a cool car, man. I dig it. I've seen a bunch of the 80s little boxy ones or whatever.
Buy Volvos. They're boxy, but they're good. We know they're not sexy. This is not a smart time to be sexy anyway, with so many new diseases around. Be safe instead of sexy. Right. Volvo. Boxy, but good. Are you crazy?
And they had a lot of it. This one was a 5-speed. This wagon was a 5-speed. A lot of guys were 5-liter swapping these things. I thought that was really cool. I was looking at some of the 2-door 5-liter swaps when I first went to the area here about 10 years ago, and they've gone up in price, like everything. But this one, PA car, so you know it's got a bunch of rust, and he sent me this video, and it's funny. He's like, "Yeah, man, I got this wires," and he had guys. It was a monstrosity. There's wirings everywhere, terrible splices, and he had to move this one to that one. He's showing me how things work. Nobody could steal this thing. I think that's, if you don't have a book of directions on how to get this thing going, you ain't gonna get it. But custom shift knob was just like a wooden knob. There was some satire involved there, but he was kind of serious. And I say, man, I appreciate it. He was very proud of this rig. So, and good on him, man. If he put it together and he loves it, I ain't judging you, man. But that's not my thing. So we passed on that. So then, the guy hits me up. Can I tempt you with a trade of a 98, I think it was, 99, something like that, Jeep Cherokee XJ? I said, oh, man. This one was less miles than mine because it was a little newer, right? It had 150,000 on it. it was lifted, 31s with 33s as well, because it had this and that and all this stuff. I had to pass on it because I got one, right? It was almost like the OBS thing all over again. So, and Megan kept telling me, "Don't jump on nothing. Don't jump on. Just Chaz, wait for the cash. That's what you really want." And I kept thinking that El Camino in the back of my head. I did really like that, but at the end of the day, we decided that Megan was telling me the whole time, and I was just like, whatever. If I find something I want, I'm going to get it. Because I've been doing that the entire time we've been married. It's a lot of times easier to ask for forgiveness and permission type of thing. Not that I need permission. I mean, obviously, as long as I don't mess with mess her car up or anything in the house, you don't care what I do here anyways. So it's whatever. But she was right. She's not here, is she? Okay, yeah. I don't want her to hear that, but she was right. And so let's hold out for it. So this guy Eric hits me up. Now I had a couple guys that had cash that kept telling me they want to buy it. Okay. And I sent some videos because I wanted to be as open and honest as possible. Because there are some things that would need to be done, like depending on I mean, some people might think it's mint condition, and that's fine. But everybody's got their, it's a relative thing as to what you want to do to daily drive something. So, a couple guys, oh yeah, I want to come check it out this weekend. Okay, cool. And then they kind of faded off. This guy hits me up, and a guy, I'll tell you, I'll be honest with you, I almost completely wrote him off right away. Because a lot of times, on marketplaces, you're like, is this available still? I said, ugh. Or, what are you asking for this? Or whatever. And I'm like, dude, it's in the ad, right? So, it was kind of late at night, and actually, no, this one wasn't late at night, I don't think. Is that right? Either way, what are you asking for this? I was like, ugh, $5,000. Is this available? Whichever one it was. It was one of the two, and I was like, all right. But I answered it, right? And I wasn't an asshole about it. I answered it. And, well, hey, man, I watched your video, and I dig it. I see you had a lot of trades. I got cash. What's up? I was like, what's up is come look at this vehicle. So he did. He came down today. It's Friday, right? He's like, hey, I said, I'm off Friday. He comes down, looks at it, walks around, says, man, it's exactly what I wanted. You could tell somebody already went through the vehicle. And, we bullshit it for a minute. We fire it up. Of course, I go to start it, and side mount. Oh, GM side mounts. That came loose, so I tightened that up, and it started fine. And told him I'd probably swap that. Like if I was holding on to this, because even the battery that I have in that that he has in that now, has side mount and top mount. I said I would swap that to top mount because the side mount crap is just trash. He's like, yeah, probably. So he loves it. We make a deal. End up giving him a couple things that I was gonna mess with it because that upper control arm had some rust in it, so I gave him the control arms and the front end kit I had. The shocks were rusted, so I gave him the shocks. Happy as can be. It's sitting back here. All the stuff that I included with it is in the bed of that thing. Or is that a bed? What is that? Cargo area? Sure, in the cargo area, and ready to go. So he gets tags. He comes, picks it up, and we'll be all set. Now I told you all that to tell you this. Hold out for what you want. I had a couple of ridiculous, I'll give you $2,500 and a pack of Camels or something like that. It's like, dude, what are you talking about? People are ridiculous. So Eric was punctual, all the things that you want. Punctual, polite, good communication, not insulting, all these kind of things. Awesome. Just an awesome deal, and I really appreciate it. He's watched a couple videos. If you're watching this, Eric, awesome, dude. Great. Just whole interaction was awesome. I really appreciate it. And that's what you want. That's what you want. The other guys, it's like, I don't want to deal with them, man. People think that like they're balling or something, and they're going to throw some ridiculous offer at you, and you're going to jump at it because you're so desperate to sell something. Clearly, I put time into this thing, put some money into it, made it as good as, well, he could take it to the next level. So I think he's a perfect guy for it. He's a VW guy, so we were talking about some of that stuff. I don't have any, and there's a reason for that. He's a more patient man than I am, I'm thinking. But they're cool, right? So look forward to come pick it up, so then I get a little more room around here. But also I want him to start enjoying it, because the whole purpose, guys, is finding the right guy, right? You get a vehicle to you do whatever you want to do, especially if you're going to, like, not going to hold on, you want to sell it. You want to find the guy that's going to love it. And I think we did. So I'm glad I didn't get, impatient, waited for the right guy to come along. He did. It was awesome, and I appreciate it. Thanks for watching, guys.